Welcome, everyone. Great to see those of you that are able to be here with me live, and also warm regards to those of you watching later on through YouTube. Those of you who haven't seen this before, my name is Shaylin, and my mother and I, we are students of the Brahma Kumari London Centre. And these chit chats are sort of informal conversations between students of the Brahma Kumari and gives us the chance to really clarify some points and develop our spiritual practices. And firstly, I'd like to welcome Salwa from Morocco, who's here. Great to see you, Salwa. Now, we've all overnight been receiving news about the earthquake that occurred yesterday. I think it was in the Atlas Mountains. So maybe you'd like to share a little bit about what's going on in Morocco, and then maybe we can have some minutes of meditation together for those first. So let me hand over to you, Salwa. You have to unmute yourself, sister.
Om Shanti Divine Family. It's 11 now in Morocco, and exactly 12 hours ago at 7 p.m., 11 minutes, 1 second, there was this earthquake in the center of Morocco, around Marrakesh, one of the oldest cities in Morocco. We felt it in Agadir, but all over Morocco actually. It was 7 in Richter, and there was only one thing to do, is to go inside. And I felt the body was shaking, but I had no fear. Just like the body is taking the vibration of the earth, but I had no fear. We took the children down, and we went out, and we remain focused in ourselves. And everyone afterward in my family went back to sleep, and I spent 2 hours to send peace for the souls who are living this now. And I was thinking, if we had not knowledge of this drama, how would I deal with that? I think I wouldn't be able to be positive and still. Without Baba's knowledge and without his power, the soul is very weak, just like a leaf in the wind. So that was this experience. But today I am in work. While I was driving to work, I found that life is taken back its natural things. I saw gardeners giving water to plants, and I was driving and seeing these scenes. I was saying that life is stronger than death. Actually, like, life is very strong. So I was happy to continue today to work. Thank you very much for your prayers, for your for being like one family, because yesterday we felt that everyone is sharing the same feelings wherever you are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. That was very powerful and gave us a great insight. And you shared very good points around what would we do if we didn't have Baba's knowledge. And one thing that Baba always teaches us, you've got to study and accumulate yoga power when times are good. because you don't know when the test papers in the dramas that are called them, they will come suddenly. And they will come when you don't expect them. They'll come when you're comfortable, when you've switched off. That's when they will come. And then you know, because everything has to be tested. So, like you're saying, you had your test and you found that you didn't have the fear. And that's because you've been studying. So, I think that that's a very big testament to the power of knowledge and the power of yoga. And as you say, where would we be? I thought your metaphor is a good one. We are like leaves in the wind. Our stage has no strength without knowledge and without yoga, because fear is so powerful. It's such a powerful emotion that it overrides, and sometimes it's not even fear in the soul, but it's actually the fear of the body. That overwhelms the fear inside the body, overwhelms the soul because this body doesn't want to die. But I, the soul, I know I can't die. So, like you said, you felt the separation. It's the body that has this instinct of survival. There's some scars of the body which are deep inside of the gene. And if we're body conscious, that's the sanskar that rule us. And it's based on survival. But when I'm in that soul conscious state, I know I'm eternal. You don't need to survive. You're always eternal. So in this way, you passed your test paper. Congratulations. And then good advice as well on a practical level that if anyone has an earthquake in their place, you just got to get out of the house because some places like you're not familiar. Like in the UK, we don't have earthquakes. So it's very unusual. So people wouldn't be prepared. Some places they have them, they're more prepared. So this is good. So for good practical advice, they don't stay in the house. And if someone is upstairs, they got to come down from upstairs. I mean, the best thing just get out of the house. Stay in Bibles, remember? Don't worry about possessions. You can get possessions. You can rebuild your house, but you look after your life. This is the main thing. We must live another day. And then again, good points about how life goes on. This is one of the rules of the drama. Death is never an end. Never. The Baba tells us it's the circle. Never ever. Doesn't matter how big the disaster, even if it's the great destruction of end of Silver Age, end of Iron Age, everything continues. Because Baba said something it seems very obvious actually after he said it, but I hadn't really thought about it until he said it. In one of the Bhog messages through Maini Didi, maybe 1 month ago, the Baba was, oh yes, it was Mother's Day. It was like the Mother's Day festival in America, but maybe June or July. And Baba said that why the mothers are praised and why Baba gives regard to the mother, because the biggest power in this drama is sustenance. Although we say three power, creation, sustenance, destruction, actually creation and destruction are not dominant. And this is what you are describing, like with the gardener watering the flowers. Because actually most of this drama is about sustenance. And even after death, there's sustenance. Even before creation, there's sustenance. Always, this drama is sustaining. Nature is sustaining. People are sustaining. So the animals are sustaining. Everyone is sustaining. So this is the dominant power. Sustenance is eternal. So the people of Morocco will get together and they will sustain. And that is now the place. So let me now speak a commentary and let's sit for a few minutes because our job as Brahmins is to support the people doing the work. So there will be disaster relief people, there will be charity workers, there will be emergency people. And at this time, they really are the hero actors of the drama in these situations. We need them. So our job is to support their mind because it's so trauma. They're going into trauma situations, but they can't think of themselves. So we have to give power to their mind. And we need the doctors and the nurses and the paramedics to take good decisions for people, life and death decisions. So we need to fill their intellect with Baba's decision making. So I'm going to now speak a commentary. If everyone, even if you're watching later on in the YouTube, please join us. So everyone sits comfortably, and we bring ourselves back into that awareness of the soul if we forgot that we are soul. And we're seated on the throne, the what Baba calls the immortal throne of the forehead, because the soul never is born, it never dies. But of course, these bodies, these are temporary. But nature never died. Like the body just goes back to nature. So it never dies really either. But in this form, it goes back to nature. It's gift from nature. And then nature loans it to us. And then nature takes it back again. So we know these natural calamities have been happening since the copper age. And we know these natural calamities will continue to increase because climate change will continue to occur in the coming years. And so it is all part of the drama. We also know that souls have to clear karmic account. And so when the new bodies are being ready, many souls they leave and they go to their new body. And those souls are also confused. So we are going to have yoga for the souls that have left their body suddenly and they might be confused, and we're going to give them light towards their new body. The souls that are patients in the hospital, we're going to give them hope for recovery. And the souls that are emergency workers, we're going to give them strength. And the souls that are doctors and other healthcare workers, we're going to give them good decision making. So either soul and a unique soul who has a connection with the seed of this tree, with Shiv Baba. So with the hand of my mind, I take Baba's hand of his mind and I hold onto Baba's hand. And my energy connects into Baba's energy. My heart is connected with Baba's heart. He is Dilara, the comforter of heart. And my heart has this love and good wishes for my brother's soul. And I connect my heart, which also has love with Shiv Baba, to Shiv Baba's heart. And I connect with the ocean of powers, the almighty authority. And as I connect with the seed, I become a root of this tree. The seed is the one soul connected with all souls. He is Buddhivano ka Buddhi, the intellect of all intellect, which means he has the thread in his hand of everyone's intellect. He can touch any soul's intellect. He can give it to every soul. He is the bestower of all powers and virtues into the soul. He is the bestower of blessing. And as I connect with him, I also then begin to develop some of those capabilities. I become a root. When I'm connected with Shabbat the seed, I become connected with also as a root. I become unlimited. I become an angel. Angels, they don't belong to anyone. They belong to everyone. So As I connect with Shibata the seed in the soul world, I reach out my hand to connect with the seed, and I watch as the energy of the seed comes into me, and I transform into an angel. I don't have any name or form of the body anymore as an angel. Lady Jen used to say, with an angel, you can just see the eye and the smile. That's it. Otherwise, an angel is just light. And the hands that are holding onto God's hand, I stretch out like I'm embracing the world. These are the hands holding God's hands, which are then stretching out. Because as an angel, all souls are my brothers and sisters. I'm like a parent, I'm like an ancestor for everyone. And I think about the souls who are the hero actors at these moments, the emergency services. Where will we be without them? They are great heroes. Mostly they're not even recognized or not even paid that much in salary, but they are risking their lives. Their families must also be so anxious for their sake. And we credit them. We have such love and good wishes for them. And we look at Shibaba and we ask Shibaba to project our good wishes into them. And we also take Shibaba's power and we also project into these souls Shibaba's power. Their mind needs to be very strong because they are the supports of so many souls at the moment. And the second soul that we will remember are the doctors and health workers. And they need good decision-making power at this time. Shibaba has all the 8 powers. All 8 powers are merged in Shibaba's love. This is the uniqueness of Shibaba's love. So let me connect with Shibaba's power of decision making. And let me project that and ask Baba to project into the medical workers of Morocco. Let them have good decision making at this time. They must save lives. They must save limb and injury. And the third soul that we remember are the souls that are in the hospitals, they're injured, and they're experiencing pain through their body. We know through the third eye of knowledge that they're settling karmic accounts. But we don't want our brother souls to be suffering. So even if the body is injured, we want the mind to be light and peaceful. So many patients, they have the experience like a vibration came to them or an angel came to them. So let's now spend 1 minute giving that comfort to the injured soul. Let's spread Shibaba's love into their mind. Watch the rays of love and the waves of comfort wash over all the patients in the hospital. Let them feel that God is remembering them and the angels are remembering them. And the fourth type of soul that we will remember are the souls that have left their body suddenly in this earthquake. And it's a shock to the soul. Untimely death is a trauma inside of the soul. But their new bodies will be ready. So they have to go in the drama. When our new bodies are ready, we have to go. And so we want those souls to have the light to be able to move on. Whatever was the role before, that role is now ended. And let's send those powerful lights of wisdom and knowledge to these souls, so they have a touching in their mind that it's time to let go of the past and move on to the next role in the drama. Hey, my brother souls, don't look backwards now. Look forward. You've got a nice new family that are going to love you. You've got new roles to play in the drama. So now don't cause sorrow to yourself by looking backward. Don't have confusion. You as the soul can never die. You've just moved on. There's exciting new things to do through a new body and a new family. And so let's send Shiv Baba's light into those departed souls. They will be in the new fetus, and because it's not so developed, the soul has a feeling of being in between. And so it gets confused, especially when it's untimely death. So as we send Baba's light and Baba's love into their mind, those in between souls, they begin to feel the courage to let go. It's as if they're walking through a doorway. At the moment, they feel like one leg is behind, so, and they don't know where they're walking into. So there's uncertainty causes more sorrow, and we don't want that. So as they receive the thoughts of knowledge from us and Baba's light of wisdom, they can walk through the door into their next life. And we bring the whole map of Morocco in front of Baba, Dada in the Sator region. And we watch how Dada is giving drishti to all the brothers and sisters, all the souls of Morocco at this time. He knows it's the end of the Iron Age. This is going to happen everywhere. The world is changing. But he doesn't want any soul to internally feel home. So Dada is giving everyone great support through his drishti. And Bhattacharya is very proud of the Brahmin. The Brahmins pass with honor in these situations. So that vibration helps as well. Honestly. So Salwa and give our wishes to all the brothers and sisters in Morocco. And I had the thought that at some point I will come and visit you all in Morocco. So that will happen, I'm sure, in the Brahmin. Thank you. So let's have a few minutes of chit chat. Again, we've got a slightly shorter chit chat today. We're going to finish at about 12. But would anyone like to ask anything or say anything?
I'm Shanti, everyone. One of the sisters who listens to the chit chat afterwards on YouTube communicated with me and asked me to ask brother um, this. Well, at least I think she struggles with everyday life, and she wants to know how you cope with your home duties, your work duties, your travels, and stay a constant yogi. She thinks it's a challenge, it's a battle. I believe every one of us will benefit from whatever you have to tell us on share with us on this. Om Shanti.
Yes, and you should share as well, Lynette, and you're also an expert at this. So, but in fact, this thought reached me 2 days ago because suddenly I was just doing some karma yoga, and suddenly I had this question come in my mind. So I think they must have had the question in her mind, and it just came in my mind, and I thought I should talk about this. So it was in the drama anyway to do this. And first and foremost, my loving advice to all brothers and sisters is my experience is we have to just be accurate with Baba's routine. Uh, it's not about the meaning of keeping a balanced life, does not mean compromising on Baba's routine. But this I really feel I would emphasize to everyone. I was just 15, 16 years old when I began my spiritual effort. And for a little while, I was thinking, okay, I will begin to build up my Amrit Vela, coming, morning morally. I will get my routine together. But actually, it never really happens like that. So my experience is you don't really build up to these things. And it was just like one day I said, okay, from tomorrow, I'm just going to do it. And then I just did it. And it becomes then a habit. When you start initially, your body is not used to this routine. So what happens is the body resists. So when we begin waking up for Amrit Vela and Morali in the morning, the body finds it such a burden that we don't experience very much in Amrit Vela, and we don't even concentrate very well in Morali, and we feel that we're very tired. And there's this heaviness inside of the body and a heaviness inside of the soul. But I really recommend to everyone that you just keep going. Now, this might mean you have to adjust something else so that you get some time to sleep. Now, sometimes brothers and sisters, they ask about, should we sleep after Amrit Vela? Should we, sleep it like that? Or is it just we got to stay awake until morally and to get the most benefit? But I would say it's really different for everyone. So what you might want to do is you might want to hear some of the morally before Amrit Vela, 3:45, and then sit at 4 until 4:45 in Bhadra's remembrance. And if you're feeling very tired, you could then have the rest again. And it depends really if you're attending class in person or tuning in online. That gives you that opportunity to have some sleep. My experience has been my earlier days, because of the heaviness inside of the soul in the body. When I was sleeping in between, I was having strange dreams, and then I'm in a very odd consciousness when coming into morning class. But I think it must just be as Baba has cleared my account and removed the alloy. Now I don't have such problems. But I am now in a different type of routine. So I hear the Morley at 5 a.m. And how this all started was we had one brother coming to the class who had to leave for work at 7 a.m. So our habit before the London Centre was to hear Morley at 6:30 a.m. And we used to go. And then when we moved from London, we were having class in our house. And we used to have it at 6:30 a.m. But this brother, he needed to leave for work at 7. So he requested a 5:30 a.m. more. So this changed our routine because we're not going to say no. Someone wants to hear the morning, they want to come to class. Uh, Generally, our principle would be we would just say yes. We, you see, when a Brahmin wants to study, then Devi Janki would always teach us that you can't say no. Like someone wants to study Baba's and then you, out of your convenience, are saying no, that's not, it's not good. So it's no problem. And it got us into the habit, got me in the habit of hearing the morning early. And then during COVID, that sort of thing stopped. But then we're now into 6 years of this daily type of podcast. So this also changed my routine. And early days of recording this, I used to hear the Morley 3 times before I recorded as well. So I wanted to be sure I got the points clear. But again, I think as my intellect is becoming clearer, I now have greater catching power more quickly as well. So I hear the Morley at 5 a.m. and depending on what needs to be done. So in the last few weeks, Ranjan Ben has been resting a little bit because she's been recovering from some surgery. And so then what I did was, because she's very bad at resting, I'm sure many of you are very bad at resting. Mothers are generally very bad at resting. So I am a big bully with Ranjan because I just force him to thrive. And I'm very, very strict. I used to be a school principal before as well. So I have this nature of bullying everyone when it's for their own good. Those of you that have children, you know, if you allow the child to even have 1 inch, they will take 1 meter very quickly. So you have to be very, very strict. You have to be very, very tough. And my experience is same thing with parents. I have a colleague, her father left the body last year. He was 95 or something like that. And her mother is like 90, 91. And their parents are living separately and she's living in another place. And she was saying to me after her father died that, she tries to convince, but her mother is stubborn, she won't do things and that. And I just said, well, your mistake is just asking. Because if you ask them, then they're always going to say no. You have to just do. So it's always this balance when we're with relatives that sometimes you just got to do what's right. And that will mean that you just got to do it. So we had a routine for a couple of weeks where I was making the morning tea. I don't eat or drink anything until 1 p.m. So I fast from nighttime, 10 p.m. until 1 p.m. the next. So I don't really, I just want coffee maybe. Or unless I'm very busy in the morning, then I will take some fruit and coffee. but I don't usually have anything. So what I was then doing in that is making the tea in the morning while listening to the morning and preparing the tea like that. So in this way, it is finding the blend where I can keep my routine and do my duties. And I'm sure many of you Brahmin, even brothers and sisters living in centers, you have to also, it's always like you live in a center, you have to be tireless. It's constant and it's repeat, like everything just repeats every day. And my experience is two things are the most important thing, whether you're running your house or whether you are running a center. The kitchen and the office. These are the two that are constant, and it just goes round and round. So I basically just organize and prioritize these two things about everything because you got to earn the money, you got to spend the money, you got to pay the bills, you got to make sure the administration is on accurate and on time, right? That has to be. So my job will be linked with that. So that has to be right prioritized, right? Everyone would understand. No one is going to say to me that don't do your job, don't do your work. Everyone will do that. But I got a routine. So my 4 a.m. until because then say 5 to 5:30, 5 to 6, I'm listening to the morning. And then I record in English, which is usually 15 minutes. I always tell myself, don't talk too much. Try and keep it down to 10 minutes or 7 minutes. So I try, but sometimes I have to share up to 15 minutes or 20 minutes because the points are important to explain properly. And then the second thing is I then record in Hindi. So maybe some of you in English who don't realize we also have a Hindi group. And so then 10, 15 minutes will be the Hindi. So actually it becomes 7 by the time I finish recording. Anyway. And then depending on my routine, I sometimes then sleep for 1 hour then after. Because if I try and organize my meetings that I don't have to have them before 11 a.m. If I am working from home. If I have to go to the office, then I have to go and I will not be able to sleep. I will just have to go. So it will depend. And then if it's that, then maybe I try and sleep by 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. So my advice, why I'm sharing all these things, is I always keep my morning routine the same. So when Daddy Janki, I was there and I was attending the class and everything, then I would obviously go to the center. So Daddy used to say, 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., you keep for that. And of course, if someone is like Daddy Janki, she's taking, we used to also go to her Bhavan Farmer Vela also. And then she's also reading the morally and she would give a class as well. So you don't want to miss that opportunity. So then my morning is different. I'm traveling to the center. But then in nowadays, I'm not traveling in that same way. So my routine has become different. And also this gift of recording and connecting with all of you, gives me great accumulation of spiritual income, everyone's blessing. So it's a different drama. But my morning, I'm always accurate. It doesn't matter what I have to do in the day. It doesn't matter how late it was the previous night. I will have my Amrit and I will hear the morning. And then if I'm busy or something like that, maybe I won't record in the morning, I will record in the evening or something. That can be flexible. Service can be flexible, but not my self-service. At that time of Amrit Vela, that's where I'm taking my power for the day. So the better we get at absorbing So my experience is you keep going with your Amrit Vela. And early days, I couldn't concentrate. We'll do some proper sessions on Amrit Vela at some point. So I won't go into every detail now. But I used to just write to Baba in the morning, emptying out my mind of all the nonsense inside of it, and then sitting with Baba. And I found that that has worked over the years. And then as the years have gone by, my absorption is increasing. So some days your Amrit Vela is anyway very, very good, and you know that. And some days it is not good. You know that as well. But over the years, I'm finding that even if the quality is fluctuating, I'm still able to absorb quite a bit. So I'm working on improving that. And this year's Morley that we are like repeating on the Sundays, they're really helping me. So um, tomorrow, actually, I'm having Raki time. And as you all know, I'm having these thoughts of what I will do this year. Like these points of freedom, freedom from anger, freedom from waste thoughts, freedom from attachment, freedom from others' dictate and thinking about others and looking at others. I my my tuning and observation is these are the things that reduce the absorption at Amrit. So as we become free of that, the absorption is increasing for me at Amrit. So this is why I will never miss that. And then the Morley, as you all know, I love the Morley. It's my main basis of everything. So I would never miss that as well. And I know the Morley is now very well. And my experience has been for many years now. We had a blessing 2, 3 days ago, where Baba said, as your divine intellect improves, it becomes clearer, you will feel Baba in front of you. So I've been practicing that for 20, 30 years during Morley. And again, we can have separate classes on that one. But since the number of years, I've had the experience when I hear Morley of like sitting in front of Baba in the 1960s. So I can see in my third eye, and I try and convey this in the classes as well. How is Baba speaking? It's like I can see as I hear the Morley, the scene of the 1960s. It's like a gift coming into my intellect. That Baba spoke this in the 1960s, but I have the experience in the morning as I listen. I am there, like in there, in that scene. And so this is why I try and convey that in the class as well. That it's not just he spoke this 50 years ago, 60 years ago, but actually we can catch the spirit of the morning and the blessing of the morning also each day. So that's why I never miss that. And as I've absorbed that, it then helps the full day. And then the second part of my message is I have learned over the years to manage my body sleep. So I will always give myself rest. And I will build my routine where I view sleep as important as a yogi and for my physical health. So what a lot of science now tells us is our body is designed to even nap twice a day. And when you listen to all of the big business people of the world, they also talk about how they have like 45-minute rest at 1 p.m. I've heard some big business people talk about that. But I would also blend in some sleep when I can get it. And I find then my body is quite happy to work with my early morning routine because then it is getting its rest as it needs it. The sleep is very important, brothers and sisters, for health, because I don't know if you all know this. The only time that our body produces white blood cells to fight against illnesses is when we sleep. This is why babies and older people, they will just fall asleep. Like Baby is just playing and happy, and then suddenly they're just asleep. You will also see this with older people, like they're sitting in the chair and then suddenly they're falling asleep. And that's not their fault. It's not laziness. It's their body just goes to sleep because it has to produce the white blood cell. Um, Otherwise, they can't fight the infection. We will just die. Like if we're a baby, we didn't sleep well, we just die. Older people as well, if they don't sleep more, they just die. And older people, they usually don't sleep when they're meant to sleep at night. So the body was lost its sort of clock. And so then it sleeps when it can. And babies as well, they're staying all night and then they sleep. So this is the body as well. So don't, sometimes as Brahmins think, oh, I must be a good yogi and conquer. But my loving advice, brothers and sisters, I am not a yogi that conquers it. I'm a yogi that uses it to improve my yoga and to manage my health. And I would say, I very, very rarely get a cold. Like probably I've had in last 10 years, 3 colds, maybe, but 2 colds. I don't get. I think partly because of this, sleep, other things. So manage our bodies. One thing Baba said when Dada Jagdish left his body was we have to keep the double knowledge of the soul and the body. And brothers and sisters, my loving advice is everyone's body is different. So although we shouldn't compromise on the routine, we do have to work out our body routine. And so your diet, your exercise, and your rest, you must keep the double knowledge of that. Brahma Baba was very good at that. We hear the story of Brahma Baba going for walks, and he went into walks into the hills. And he had a routine, 9 a.m. every day. He went for hill walk. It was like routine was very like routine, very accurate at his routine. He woke up 3 a.m. Then he sits with Shiv Baba. Then of course there's Morley class, and then he does letter writing after Morley class because post goes at 8:45 a.m. And then he will maybe have little light breakfast, and then he will go for a walk. Then he'll come back, and then meeting, and then lunch. You'll notice in Madhuban, they make the lunch. If you ever are sitting in Baba's room in Ahmedabad, the sister will come with the bhog tray, 11:30 or 11:45 a.m. for lunch, and offer the bhog in Baba's room. And this is because Brahma Baba always took lunch 12 o'clock, exact. Very, very routine, right? He had diabetes and high blood pressure. So he was managing his diabetes, his high blood pressure. And then maybe he will rest. And then he would have fruit and tea, 4 p.m. So 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. He would play outdoor games with the children. So where the Tower of Peace is, he would play cricket and badminton. And then 4:30 p.m. he would have tea and fruit with indoor games. So he's exercising his brain. His favorite was chess. So again, brothers and sisters, sometimes Brahmins think that they should only read the morning, but actually doing some different type of mathematics type of thing or something puzzle, this exercises the brain. We were visiting Barcelona Center about 5 years ago, and Sister Marta is the DD of Spain and Barcelona. And she's a few years older than me, but like me, her parents came, they were one of the original students of Deligenti in Spain. And uh, she was only 14 years old when they came. And now they all are like, the parents are like Ranjan Bengay. And so she was telling me her mother goes for this type of learning computer classes and things, like keeping the brain healthy. Otherwise, they live in the center, all of them. But she is also giving this advice. You've got to age well. Got to keep the double knowledge of flowing in your body. Then my final bit of advice, because of course I can share many things. So you can see is that when it comes to responsibility, you have to become like a surfer. So I can share in the group a lecture I gave actually in Barcelona. I gave this lecture at the center, how to keep a balanced life. So those of you who speak Spanish, you will also hear the Spanish translation because I spoke in English, and that could be also useful maybe. And Ramon Bai is the senior Badawi. He was doing the translation. And we are old friends of like 25 years before. And so it was good to also have his advice and input. So I've churned this topic about balance over many years, figured it out for myself also. And my experience is that many people, they advise wrongly how to keep a balance by like saying, okay, it's like everything should be in proportion. This much time for spirituality, this much time for family, this much time for work, this much time for this and that. And this is not at all my experience. My experience is that we should look at balance over the year, not over a day. So there will be some times in your life where your relatives are going through some crisis. You got to give your time to the family. Give it to the family at that time. So balance at that time means prioritizing what needs to be done. Other times your job is demanding. You got to give the time to your job. If you are a student, you're coming up to your examinations, you got to give your time to your study. If you're a business owner, you know what it's like in business sometimes. It's like a ebbing and flowing. Sometimes it's very, very busy. Sometimes it's less busy. So you're going to have to give at certain times in the year more time to some area of your life. So I like to say it's the surfing model. Ranjit Ben and I were visiting the south coast of England, a place called Bournemouth in July. And Ranjit Ben wasn't with me one evening. It was very warm. So I went by, they have a pier, and I went to walk there. We were just staying right there next to, even my conference was also right on the coast. And there was a group, they were surfing. So they had this surfboard and they were waiting for the waves to come, and then they catch the wave. And then they stand up on their board and they let the wave. And the skill is the balance. And they have to paddle with the wave and then stand up and have the momentum of the wave carried. So balance for a surfer is moving with the wave. If you try and resist the wave, you just fall. You fall into the sea. You cannot stand up. You must go with the wave. That is the stuff. So my experience is drama gives sometimes the wave of my job, sometimes the wave of the family, sometimes the wave of my own health, sometimes the wave of something else, right? You need to earn money, you got to go and work, right? You don't, oh, I will have yoga, the money come. No, go and get a job. So once when I was young, very young, I just wanted to live in the center, 16, 17 years old. And Devi Janki just said to me, being a yogi means having your own job, having your own apartment, having everything. So she was teaching balance, right? But being a yogi doesn't mean you just got to remember. Because as Brahmins, we just want to have knowledge, just do better service. This is not balance. And she taught me this from the beginning. But over the years, I got better at learning with wisdom how to do this. So this is for me, you look over the course of the year at the time when something needed to be done, Did I do it? I've shared this all with you before as well. I gave my chart of yoga once today. She just shook her head at me and she said, I was in her sitting room at Baba Baba, and I remember her leaning across to me saying, Taylor, yoga means doing the right thing at the right time. And this is yoga. This is yoga. That what needs to be done. Did you do it properly at the right time? I've also heard her say many times, like when we used to stay in Madhuba, and you have the thought, okay, I stayed 2 weeks, I'm having good yoga, good progress, I'll stay extra a week. And when I've done that, and I remember Yogesh Bhai of Turkey, he said this once, he stayed like for 1 month. And Lady Janki then, after about third week, she's no longer smiling at you. She's like walking with this frown as she sees you. Oh, you got no work to do? Or you're just sitting here, just sitting around. And Lady Prakashmani used to say this as well, that Baba Brahma Baba only let her stay in Madhuban maximum 3 days. She used to bring a group, and he used to say, well, you've got good power to absorb. You got 2 days. You absorb everything, go back, go and sit. Why are you just sitting around here? Okay. Balance of everything. And so it's what needs to be done at a time. And then, as I think you will know, in recent times, I thought I've worked on all these things, got myself more wise, prioritized different things. And I think you will know that in recent years, drama has helped me out so much with getting me a job that allows me to have a lot of balance. So I am able to do my hours over 7 days. They work because they want to keep their employees and they want to support people who are caring for others. And we have laws in the UK about this as well. So this allows me also to have balance. So that is good drama. That's just maybe some help from Baba, maybe some good karma, maybe everyone's blessing. So it allows me to keep the balance of everything and do it in that way. So, Sister Lynette, I don't know if you want to add anything there. I know you are good at keeping the balance. And Sister who's listening later on, I hope I've answered a lot of your questions.
Thank you so much for sharing. I understand a lot of what you said, but a lot of what you said, I needed to hear it as well. It's not about just doing yoga because it overwhelms you. It's not life. It's not life at all. But putting aside specific time and being consistent with the time to spend with Baba is important. What I have done, what I do, is during the day I talk to Baba a lot. While I'm cooking, I realize that now I do everything peacefully. I have no stress whatsoever. It has been overwhelming. We come up with situations where life is very overwhelming. And what I realize, and what you did say, is I sit down and write to Baba. I write letters. And when I do that, I give it up. I don't take it anymore. And I realize that answers come, solutions come, and it amazes you what happens. Because I have practical proof of that with a family member. Couldn't understand what was going on, where to turn to, how to help. I knew I had no control. And I wrote Baba letters and I gave it up. And within 3 months, everything just changed. And I am still amazed at the changes that have taken place, the way Baba helps you out like that. So, and it gives you the confidence to say, okay, I'm not alone. I know what to do now, and I do it. But I do everything, whatever I do it with a lot of love, knowing that I'm serving. And everybody has their part. I have my part, and this is what I'm here for. I'm a trustee, nothing is mine. And I'm here to serve on behalf of God to the souls in my life. And that's how I live my life right now. And I'm always, there is absolutely no stress when I look at it that way. Thank you so much, Bora, for sharing that. And I know it's going to be helpful for so many of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good points again there. And you're reminding me that if we go back over Baba's messages through Mohini Didi these last 1 or 2 months, Baba kept saying to us, main thing is you've got to remain very light. And this is what this is. Like, if you live in a center, you are also just very busy and you have to be an all-rounder. And you live in a household, your family, again, you have to be an all-rounder. It's not that, it's not that different because wherever we are, we have to remain light. This is the test. That can you remain light with all the different challenges coming your way? And we are challenging our old samskars, which always make us heavy. And I think one final thing I would add, and my loving advice to everyone, I train myself to only think 30 minutes at a time. So what do I have to do this next 30 minutes? Because what I find is a lot of waste thoughts come, obviously thinking about the past, but also thinking about all the things I got to do. And there's always going to be so many things to do. And we can become heavy because of those things. And Devi Janki, I learned this a lot from Devi Janki. She used to give a lot of public lectures on this topic of busyness. And she said she never even heard of this word, busy, until she came to London. It's a Western word. She said she's never felt busy in her life. Otherwise, she was very, very active, like, very tired of morning until night time. And she said she's never felt busy, ever, in her life. And if any Brahmin said, "Oh, Daddy, you were busy, so I didn't come," she felt very insulted. She felt like you were telling her that she made you feel busy. She made you feel like she was busy. She said, "I never felt busy. You could have just come and talked to me. There's no problem." She said that you in there's like I don't know if it's the UK or European thing, that like it's like a cultural thing that you feel like you're a burden. Oh, sorry, Daddy, I don't want to take your time. Sorry for troubling you. Like it's a cultural way of thinking. And she said, why do you behave like you're a burden? And she used to talk to the public saying that actually none of you are busy, but you think more than you do. So she said that you actually do very little compared to Daddy. Daddy does more, but thinks less. That's real. So she doesn't feel busy and has more impact. But many of you, even like we might even not be doing anything important, like little day-to-day things, and we're so stressed about that because we're thinking so much about what we got to do. And people, they don't have anything useful to think about, but they are just always talking about useless things they got to do and trying to pull you into that. But I just stay very, very disciplined. Okay, what do I have to do next? So I learned this one, just be in the present. Okay, this next 30 minutes. And yes, if I've got a plan for the day or I've got to do these things, I do have those things. But mainly, I'm just thinking like I've got to talk with all of you now, and then I've got to go and collect medicine to the pharmacy. That's my next action. Then after that, I probably have to eat them. So, maybe think about that next. But like if someone, what will you eat in the evening? No, haven't got that far yet. Or what do I then? Haven't got that far yet. Let's see. Let's just do the next thing, and then we'll see where we. And I find that that helps keep my presence and concentration. And second thing that, especially living with relatives now, before there wasn't living with relatives for a while, but you see, relatives can have this habit of always wanting to criticize people and talk about people and gossip and criticize. And when my uncle came back from India, my relatives in India, um, they were saying, "Oh, he hasn't called us. What is he saying about us?" And I said, "Well, I don't really know because I have a rule that you can't talk to me if you're going to criticize them." So this is my rule. Everyone in my family just know if you're going to criticize anyone, don't. I'm not interested. I won't believe. I will believe the other. So of course they don't like me. Because people just want me to support what they're saying. But if someone says something about it, I will believe the other. So I said, you don't even waste your time. So of course no one puts me. So I just said to them, don't worry about it. He hasn't said anything to me because you know my rule. And that then stops them wanting to also talk about criticizing him or criticizing everyone else. So actually no one talks to me. Everyone finds me the most boring person in the world. But I don't have any extra information about people. Like, if you want to know about the news of society, don't talk to me. I really don't know anything. You want to know the news of the Brahmin gossip in the center? Don't talk to me. I really don't know anything. And so I'm just so focused on Murli. So if we empty our minds of this extra, like it's like a feng shui of our mind. Daddy Janki used to say, don't have any extra objects. Don't have any extra thoughts on that. And just if we do this, actually you find you're not so stressed anymore. And you've got that extra time. So stressfulness and balance, it's not to do with not being busy. I've got such a big list of things to do constantly. My list never reduces, always is long. I do something and not everything, something else is being added all the time. But what can I do today? Let me do that. Let me just do today. Right? Let's not. Then tomorrow, let me do tomorrow. So let me do that and keep my mind. And there's a phrase Baba uses in the Morali. You've got to stay on the rails of the drum. For many years, I used to churn what this means. What is it? And I now understand through experience. I keep my mind in this half hour, this 30 minutes. Because the drama is here. The train track is going to take me. The drama is a train track. My train will move. It has to move. This train track of the drama only move in one direction. Trains, they don't go backwards. Only in one direction. So I can only move one way, and I can only move as the train is moving on the train. So this drama moves in one speed in one direction. And when you're looking, you can't say, okay, I love this scene. I want to just look at this scene. No, you don't have the train is gone. You can only look out the window at that scene in the drama. That scene is in front of you. That is the story. You got to go. This is what it means. Move. So at this moment, this is the thing in my drama. Let me do this with my heart, with Baba. Next week. Let me do that. Now the time is. Well, we'll finish at 12:30. So you share for 10 minutes. But this was good, but when I heard about Morocco, I thought of Salma then straight away. And there are a couple of Brahmins, and I said this good. At least to see Baba and Rama everywhere, because Baba knows the deep spirituality and people with that, and those vibrations as well. But then again, the entire world, all these politicians, they all have offered help, that we are one family, because Baba and Rama knows we need physical help as well. And Spain is going to send, because then I realized that Spain is very right near the next door to Morocco, to Marrakesh. Yeah, this is epicenter, is not there. And so it's going to send rescue. So as Baba's children,
Baba is teaching us the balance that you need spirituality and real proper yoga. And, so Baba's children at the moment everywhere have been giving good vibrations and then physical health, will happen as well and it's happening. So, like I say, we just stay on the track and vote. And last Sunday, Murli Baba said that don't get interested in those, like if someone, otherwise they will come that, oh, this is my rubbish being, and they'll keep on coming that this person is interested in talking nonsense, gossiping things, so they'll keep coming. But if you are really strong, and if you can put a full stop for yourself, for your own benefit, and you also put a full stop to the other person's habits or stuff like that, and teach them to put a full stop, then listen if it's necessary, and guide them, but don't move along with those thoughts, because it's not useful for anyone. So I thought of that yes, that much yoga power, that much strength to put a full stop and move along and help others to move as well. I just so sustain. And today's slogan, today's blessing was about, I thought it was all four subjects in that blessing. If you read it again, so it was about service, karma yoga. And so today's blessing, today's slogan was that pure thoughts are so invaluable, so precious. Just keep those in your mind. And unless we have all the pure thoughts, although we say we have good wishes, Baba says in many moments, unless your intellect and your thoughts are very pure, and then your good wishes will reach them. So, we say we send good wishes, but testing and keeping just pure thoughts. But if you read the slogan also, and today's obvious signal are in that line, like those two sisters who read. If you read all that and practice and understand, that will help. I think today's Murli was accurate how to, help others, help yourself. And I really, brothers and sisters are going to sit into silence because it will help others. And we don't know, we have to watch drama unfold because Middle Eastern countries need more centers for somebody. Their sisters and brothers all need and they'll come up and centers will open because there's benefit. Some Brahmins might be waiting, some parents are waiting to open up the center. We don't know. So Baba says we just keep moving with Baba giving and then see, and as a detached observer, just keep watching the drama, what it unfolds, because this drama is entertaining, mysterious, complicated, and Baba uses those words. It's Gokuli, and what is entertaining, and Guya is incognito, it's very, but in the end, like today Baba said, it will reveal. Baba talked about the vision, even Sakshatkar, and today's Murli, so to heard today's Murli, that in the end, what happened in the beginning, what Nadi, Baba will reveal all that. So we have to be ready. Baba was getting us ready, we began with that I found, so I what Om Shanti means, the soul, my religion is peace, I come from. So it was, as I say, Baba was teaching us that we are going back and this process. So read today's Murli, the entire Murli and all, and then he went on to say, so keep Baba as a friend. You become a student, keep Baba as a teacher, giving you extra lessons and teaching you if you don't understand. But I thought it was all four subjects in every Murli. But to the blessing, just remember, I said Baba wants us to have dharana, to apply to bring it in our life and use that, and don't use the old sanskars or habits. Don't let them overpower you or overwhelm you. But use that, but have relationship with Baba. 2 days ago, Baba talked about the relationship according to the time. So when you are revising, you don't but you like to revise with your friend or your sister or brother or so accordingly fit this relationship as well. Because what Baba was teaching us today, karma yoga in the blessing and dharana, subject of becoming embodiment of that everything.
Thank you.
Yoga.
Thank you, sister. Thank you.
And Benjamin was saying to me that Zanzibar and the London Centre also had yoga this morning for brothers and sisters in Morocco. So the whole of the UK family is having yoga. We are with you.
There is having a call of time, and there are from Middle East also some brothers have gone, and I think someone from Morocco also has gone there, and from Spain and everywhere. So they all are giving those good wishes and everything, and all the politicians who are having G20 summit in India, Delhi, they are going to send the help. So it's good. Drama is actually Baba is keeping balance of physical and spiritual, teaching us.
And there was a point in the morning, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, where Baba was saying how you've got all these colonial powers like France and Spain. They took a lot from Morocco, Italy, and at the time of need, they then have to send back the aid. And Baba he touches the intellect of these. So I think that this is all these different karmic accounts, positive and negative, all being settled at this time. Okay. So
Definitely.
thank
Definitely.
you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for
Thank you
having
for your sweet energy, honest energy. Baba's energy is flowing through you, and I feel it. And I thank Baba. He made us incorporeal as he is in the thoughts. Otherwise, we cannot be useful in the drama if we were not incorporeal. In a specific moment, we are of no use and in the drama. And yes, yesterday at 3 p.m. While I was having meditation, because I had a surgery actually 2 days before, so I had 1 day off work. So I was meditating, and it was a powerful meditation because I kept crying, 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 and I saw the whole of my life, and I was in front of Shiva Baba, and I was crying because I knew him in this life, and I was it's a strange feeling because it's something he's very deep and very silent, but yet very light. He's very he is the only one that can have all these contradictory aspects, but yet he's I don't know how to express that. Anyway, I was contemplating his face, and I was saying, I am lucky that I knew you in this life. And then the earthquake came at 11 p.m. So I think that I had some feeling of just to thank him because he found me, because I could have gone today,
you.
I could have gone. So I think this tears was of feeling gratitude and feeling gratitude to see his face.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful way to end today. Thank you so much, Sawaban. What a great experience. I know exactly what you mean about Rajaba. I also feel like.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you, sister. You're such a blessing. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So thanks to those of you able to join us live today, and also warm greetings to all of you who are joining in later on through YouTube. Have a great week, everyone. See you next week. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much. A great weekend to both.
Thank you.